Joining us now, Vermont Independent Senator and former Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders, when you hear phrases like that DEI hire already being used, or you hear an Ohio State Senator today at J.D. Vance's rally warning it would take a civil war to save the country if Trump is not elected, what does it tell you about what lies ahead in the next few months in this campaign?
Well, it's going to be a brutal campaign. I believe that Kamala Harris is going to be the next president of the United States. And I think, Anderson, she has a chance to win this election big if we can focus on the serious problems facing working families all over this country. Politics is not a game. It's not about polls or misstatements. What it's about is what we can do to address the fact that 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, while the people on top have never, ever had it so good. 50% of our seniors are living on $30,000 a year or less. I believe, President Biden believes, and I think the Vice President believes, that we should expand Social Security, raise those benefits to make it easier for the elderly to get by and pay for the prescription drugs that they need. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any nation on earth. And what we have got to do is do what we did in the American Rescue Plan, is make the child tax credit permanent. That's $300 a month per kid. We cut childhood poverty by 40%. We got to bring that back because it's really tough to raise a kid with the cost of the child care and everything else in this country. You got workers out there making $10 an hour. Nobody can get by on $10, $11 an hour. Got to raise that minimum wage to a living wage. If the vice president campaigns on an economic agenda, among other things, she's going to win and win big.
Have you talked to her since President Biden dropped out? And if so, what did you say to her?
Well, I did talk to her, but those conversations are private.
I figured.
But again, I think, yeah.
Vice President Harris, though, has now been endorsed by at least 41 Democratic senators, 186 Democratic representatives, 23 Democratic governors. You've yet to endorse her. You'd previously supported President Biden staying in the race. Will you? What's going to take for you to endorse the vice president?
Well, I'm sure that I will, and I want to just chat with her, and I want to make sure. Look, this is a consequential campaign. It is, when we talk about the future of the planet and climate change, we have to make sure that we elect the vice president. When we talk about economic rights, we got to make sure that we elect the vice president. I just want to make sure that her campaign understands that for too many people in this country, when they look at Washington, D.C., they feel ignored, they feel insulted, that people are not understanding what is going on in their lives. Life expectancy for working class people is 10 years shorter than it is for the rich. And working class people want a government that represents them and not corporate America. And I just want to make sure that the vice president, as I'm sure she will be, will stand up strongly with an agenda that speaks to the long neglected needs of working families. And if she does that, she's going to win and win big.
Would you have liked to have seen, more of a? There were some, people who had talked about some sort of shortened primary process. Would you have liked to have seen more people having a chance to kind of throw their hat in the ring, debate these issues, talk about these issues, make their case, all the issues that you've just discussed to the American people?
Well, this has been a really weird election process. It goes without saying. I have not been overjoyed to see the kind of attacks against the president, President Biden, by the corporate media and by some of the wealthy donors, forcing him to leave the campaign. And I think a lot of that was just not right. But he is out of the race right now. Kamala Harris is going to be the candidate, and I will do everything I can to make sure that Trump is defeated and that she is elected.
And just briefly, several names have obviously been floated as possible running mates. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. Do you have somebody you would recommend?
Look, at a time when we are moving toward an oligarchic society, where a small number of billionaires exercise incredible power over our economic and political systems. I want a ticket which is prepared to stand up and fight for working class people. That's what I want. And there are a number of people out there who are prepared to do that. But that's who I would like to be part of that ticket.